Alright, let's see how this goes. I wasn't planning to record this. Oh. Yeah, I wasn't planning to record this, but I figured it might be useful for some people. So, what I'm going to cover in this video, we're just going over all the books that are on my list that I initially want to read. Well, not initially want to read. So I'm trying to make a list of 5 books that I'm going to read thoroughly. The others will just be reference until I have time to read them at some point. Yeah, and right now you can see big stack of books right next to me. So plan is to go through them in the next 2 hours, and yeah, 14, like 20 books probably. So first book, Value Proposition Design. This one, I started to go over it a little bit. Actually, I'm going to change it to shorts. Alright, so let's go through this. And plan is to go quickly. So, Value Proposition Design, what's covered in this book, talks about business model canvas, I believe, from an overview. Goes specifically into the value part of the business model canvas. Talks about design. So goes into prototyping, understanding customers, making choices, finding the right business model. Goes into testing. Let's see, testing step by step, bringing it all together, and then evolving. So creating alignment, improving relentlessly, reinventing yourself consistently. It says value proposition design will help you successfully understand patterns of value creation, leverage experience of the team, avoid wasting time on ideas that won't work. And let's see what else. Yeah, so this part I think really helped position this book within where everything goes. And I can try to show it. So basically what it's showing is at the top, the environment map. And I'm not familiar with the environment map, but I think what it just means is maybe like understanding competition, the problem. And then business model canvas is basically how you introduce yourself, your business into that environment. So I maybe the best way would be like the typical XYZ plot. You have like X is, I don't know, cost, and then Y is some other variable that's important, and then you can see how the different solutions are plotted on that, and then where yours wants to be on that plot. So that's just a way to think about environment map, at least my understanding of it currently. Then business model canvas is how you bring your business into that map. How do you make sure that it's feasible, it's viable? And then this book is specifically focused on value proposition and customer segments. So it does briefly go over the business model canvas, but it's going to focus on your value proposition and your customer segment. So I think that's going to be super helpful, especially once you are talking to looking for funding. They're going to want to understand what specific customer segments you're looking for and what value you provide, because the value is what's going to make sure that you stick around and are not just a dumb idea. So let's see. Best practices, value map, pain relievers, gain creators. I think there's actually a video that probably summarizes this that I've seen before. Fit, 3 kinds of fit: on paper, problem solution; in the market, product market fit; and then in the bank, business model fit. Gotcha. So the first fit that we need to address is problem solution. Then we're going to go into the market, make sure that it's something that people want. And if it is something that people want, I guess then scale it up and get funding is what it looks like. Design, test, and repeat. Great value propositions are embedded in great business models. Focus on the jobs, pains, and gains. Prototyping possibilities, prototyping principles, napkin sketches, starting points, push-pull, big ideas with books and magazines. In search of jobs, pains, and gains. Identify high-value jobs, 6 ways to innovate the customer profile. Understanding customers. I think it's a good book, and maybe one to look into once you refine. Wait. Finding your early evangelist. 10 questions to assess value proposition. I feel it's a good book, and I probably would read it, but I don't know if it'd be in my top 10 or top 5. So this one, let's see, what did we say about books? A comprehensive step-by-step guide to designing value proposition to value proposition of a startup. I said there's another book that's a complement of the Startup Owner's Manual. Short book conducting. So I actually might consider grouping these. Talking to humans. So what if we did like this small canvas? I'll just keep it in my mind for now. And Blue Ocean Strategy. Yeah, so I said this one probably later. This one, maintaining relationships, bringing in. Yeah, so I'm not initially. Right now, I think I'm focused on having bootstrapping. So having like a few ideas that I work out, build a little bit of a reputation, build my skills. And then after like, let's say like 5, 6, 7 months, then level up a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Now, business model. Oh, I should show. Business model generation. This one is also going to be in the series of, or in the vein of Steve Blank's book, The Startup Owner's Manual. So, going to be focusing on like business model canvas. How do you go about like finding an idea and making sure it fits within the market, and making sure it's feasible and viable. There's better ways to describe it, but that's in my mind how it is. Business model here describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. So the 9 building blocks, business model canvas essentially, customer segments, value proposition, the channels through which you're going to deliver, what you're building to your customers, customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, key partnerships, and the cost structure. And there are plenty of summary articles online if you're curious on what the business model canvas, yeah, what that is. This basically goes over that in a very graphic way, or a visual way, lots of visuals. The book is designed really well. So if you want something a little bit quicker than the Startup Owner's Manual, this could be something that you reference as opposed to the Startup Owner's Manual. Free advertising of multi-sided platforms. Yeah, so I think that would be a good one, but it's almost like a repeat a little bit. I don't know if it's just a lot more graphics and figures, telling a visual story, prototyping, storytelling, developing the story, scenario business model generation. Yeah, so it's a comprehensive step-by-step. Let's do the other one. A more visual, guide to building a startup. Next book, The E-Myth Revisited. So in this book, E-Myth Revisited. So it says this book is the entrepreneur. So it's about. At first I thought E-Myth meant like e-commerce. So it's about entrepreneurship, actually. The entrepreneurial myth, the myth that most people who start small businesses are entrepreneurs. And the second myth is the fatal assumption that an individual who understands the technical work of a business can successfully run a business that does technical work. Okay. He's the founder and CEO of E-Myth Worldwide, so it seems like he's written books. But I'm curious if he's had a business or his involvement in this. But I mean, his book has been mentioned by a lot of people. Table of contents, the E-Myth in American Small Business, Entrepreneurial Myth, the Entrepreneur, Infancy, Adolescence, Beyond the Comfort Zone, Maturity, the Turn Franchise Prototype, Working on Your Business, Not in It, Business Development Process, Business Development Program, Objective, Strategy, People, Marketing, Systems. Beyond the Comfort Zone. It seems a little bit abstract, which is quick to go through. But then again, is it maybe it's more of like a mindset then a guide. Well, a guide to mindset adjustment in all these different areas. Why is my book suddenly turned orange? That's kind of weird. Kind of looks like peppered vomit. Or maybe the printer just malfunctioned. So anyways, primary aims. I don't know. Kind of looks like strategic. Very general. Like I could read this in a day. And read all the notes and yeah, it almost seems like if you try to just summarize the startup owner's manual, this almost seems like what the summary would look like. Not even sure what to... Seems to cover... Seems to focus on shifting the readers... On shifting, adjusting... or guiding the reader's mindset about entrepreneur and business on all phases business development, something like that. Oh, my nose. Next book, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. So this is about, first is a statement by the CEO of General Electric that he makes all the managers read this book. Oh, that's super orange. The light in here is bad for this orange. An organization dedicated to creating something new under conditions of extreme uncertainty. It is just as true to penetrate the fog of uncertainty, fosters companies. This seems like it's more focused on the startup way, the lean startup. Can use continuous and to create radical, successful businesses. Let's see. My first impression is that this is aimed at companies that need to be a little bit more lean, like startups. My nose is bothering me. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur, read this book. If you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, read this book. If you're curious about entrepreneurship, read this book. How today's use continuous innovation. So part 1, vision. Start, define, learn, experiment, steer. Part 2, leap, test, measure, pivot. Part 3, accelerate. Oh, okay, from the start. So the lean startup method. 5 principles of this book. Yeah, so this seems like it's the key. First, entrepreneurs are everywhere. You don't have to work in the garage to be a startup. Anyone who works so a startup is a human institution designed to create products and services under conditions of extreme uncertainty. That is a startup. So entrepreneurs are everywhere within these organizations or these institutions that they make. It can be any size company. Entrepreneurship is management. Startup is an institution, not just a product. So it requires a new kind of management in the context of extreme uncertainty. Validated learning. Yeah, so startups need to learn how to make a sustainable business. And then another principle is build, measure, learn. And the fundamental activity of a startup is to turn ideas into products, measure how customers respond, and then learn and pivot or continue to build it. Innovation accounting. Why startups fail, how this book is organized, is divided into vision. Vision makes a case for a new discipline of entrepreneurship. Identify who is... Oh. Yeah, so I think it's an overview of the lean startup method. Starts with vision, goes to strategy, and then that develops a product. Talking to customers. So even this seems like analysis paralysis. So even this seems like I don't know if summarized is the right word, but like a summarized or condensed version of the Startup Owner's Manual. Start small, be specific. Further reading. Join the movement. Lean Startup meetups. Ooh. Lean Startup Wiki. Startup Circle. Startup Lessons Conferences. Required reading. The 4 Steps to an Epiphany. Entrepreneur's Guide to Customer Development. What else? Futuristic Play. Venture Hacks. Further reading. Innovator's Dilemma. I think that was Steve Jobs' favorite books, or Innovator Solution. I wonder why he doesn't mention Startup Owner's Manual. But he does mention Steve Blank's other book, 4 Steps to Epiphany. Cool. So that was the Lean Startup. What did I say for eMath? Seems to focus approaches the topic of, or how can I summarize this? Vision. what was the words they use? It was like vision, strategy, product, but they used other words that I think might be, vision, steer, and accelerate. Entrepreneurship, following the lean methodology, similar to blanks methodology. So yeah, it is a bit leaner, I guess. So it's lean. Following the lean methodology in 3 phases: vision, steer, and accelerate. Yeah, that's good enough for me. I might add more detail once I make like a website and read the book, but for now, this is useful for me. Next book is $1 Million Weekend. This one seems kind of interesting, by Noah Kagan. $1 million weekend. So let's see. Launch a 7-figure business in 48 hours. It says he built an $8 million business, CEO of AppSumo, which is a $70 million business. He talks about the formula. Now is the best time to start a profitable business. I feel like they always say that now is the best time because, I mean, it is. You have to consider, though, the trends and the market, specific market that you're in, and then the overall market, but that's another topic. Unremarkable people start profitable businesses every day. I believe that. If all the information is freely available, why does it seem so hard for you to start a business? It's easy to make excuses. I like that. Spend no money, validating idea. I like this book so far. So what is in this book? Let's see. Start It, Part 1. Rediscover your creator's courage. Just start. The unlimited upside of asking. Build it. Launch your business with $1 million weekend process. Find $1 million idea. 1-minute business model. 48-hour money challenge. And grow it. Social media is for growth. Email is for profit. The growth machine. 52 chances to redesign. Frequently made excuses. Yeah, so it's talking about excuses people have made starting here, or start here. So it tells you what he has made. And the 3 steps to the $1 million weekend process: find a problem that people are having that you can solve, create a solution that, well, 2 steps actually in step 2. So first, create a solution. And second, you sort of have to validate that with simple research that it is $1 million. It has $1 million potential. It's not just something that like 10 people in the world need. And then spend no money to validate your idea. Fear of asking, fear of starting. Part 1, start it. Part 2, build it. Part 3, grow it. So the challenge for those who found success. I kind of like this, and I almost want to try it. Oh, nice. Limited upside of asking, choosing a freedom number. Oh man. There's a challenge in here, the coffee challenge, where he says to go to a coffee shop or any other shop and ask for 10% off of what you're purchasing and then just wait for them to respond. That is ballsy, and I need to do more of that. I like that. And I can, I know that that's something I could feel a bit uncomfortable doing, and so it's something I want to do just to get over the uncomfortableness of it. Yeah, and there's lots of tables, lots of lists. It's very nicely digestible, readable. Definitely a bit more modern if you hate sort of the way that books are typically structured. Nice, I like it. That's probably going to go in my top. Let's see. Other books we have: Quick and Easy Way to Effective Speaking, Networking, Influence, Next 5 Move, Small Business Bible, that's probably going to be important. Art of the Start, that's probably going to be useful. Entrepreneurship, I don't know about this one for dummies. I don't know. The Mom Test, did I go over this? I thought I went over this. Mom test. Oh, no, I have it. Crucial Conversations, maybe later on. Mom Test, How to Talk to Customers. That one I would say is a supplement to Startup Owner's Manual. Crucial Conversations later on. Acceleration, this might be useful at first. 100 Best Business Books of All Time, maybe later on. Entrepreneurship, Starting and Operating a Small Business. This one's more of like a textbook type of book, so it's going to be comprehensive, so that might be useful to knowing what tax legal stuff I need to be aware of. Entrepreneur's Handbook, Harvard Business Review. We'll see. I don't know what to expect. It could be good, it could be, yeah, we'll see. The Hard Thing About Hard Things, I don't know what to expect from this one. Millionaire Fastlane, don't know what to expect from that one. 7-Day Startup, that seems kind of interesting. 0 to 1, I think that one might, I haven't read it, but my feeling for it is that it's going to be more of an idea on approaching this in the right way. And then Life Hacked, that one might be interesting. It's about app developer who's made, I think, like 100 million from an app on the App Store, a few apps on the App Store. Yeah, so this book could probably be in the top 5. $1 Million Weekend. So I think what I would do from reading this, feeling a bit inspired. My goal right now that I haven't adjusted my timeline yet. This is my timeline, yeah. So my timeline right now I think is looking a bit like learning Figma in parallel to learning website development, and with an aim to make my website, I want to share all this information and just make my journey a lot more referenceable and digestible and usable, by people watching these videos, because these videos 2 hours long, who's going to watch that? Like, unless it's something very specific from my journey that you're going to come back to, I don't think anyone's just sitting around watching 2-hour videos. I am not, so I realize that. But anyways, Figma, parallel to website, and yeah, to make my own website. And that's going to be, I think I can finish towards the end of March. So that's about a month. And if with any extra time, then that's going to be me refreshing my iOS knowledge. Yeah. So by the end of March, I should have Figma down. I should have website development. I should have my website down, which is more important than actually learning website development at the moment. So probably in March, at the end of March, start of April, I want to try this. Like a 1-week challenge where maybe I read this book on day 0, just like skim it. And then day 1, start it. Just follow it. It's kind of like a guide, I think. It goes by challenges. I'll do each challenge. The coffee shop challenge. I'm going to have to, I don't know, because I wouldn't expect to go to Walmart, ask for 10% off. Like, does that work at Walmart? See, I'm already trying to hedge the rejection. We'll see. Or maybe I should just do it in multiple places. Go to Walmart and go to other places. Okay. So, yeah. Figma, website, iOS, end of March. Just try like a weekend startup. Okay. So end of March, probably do this. Suggest or what's the best way to write these? Like in what tone and guides reader through the $1 million weekend process, starting a business in just a few days. I want to this challenge once I finish my website. The end of March. So I don't know where I'll rank it, but it's going to be in the top. Next book, Quick and Effective Speaking by Dale Carnegie. Is there another book by Andrew Carnegie? I don't know. So every chapter of this book builds on the 3 principles that Carnegie has talked about. Know what to say it with feeling, say it vividly and clearly. So in the book, acquiring the basic skills, developing confidence, speaking effectively, the quick and easy way, earning the right to talk, vitalizing the talk, sharing the talk with the audience, making the short talk to get action. making the talk to inform, making the talk to convince. So different types of talks, the purpose of the art of communicating, so delivering the speech, practicing your voice. Don't try to imitate others, be yourself. Challenge of effective speaking. The fundamentals of effective speaking include acquiring basic skills, keep the goal before you, seize every opportunity to practice, developing the confidence. You are not unique in your fear of speaking. A certain number is useful. Most professional speakers never lose their fear of speaking. Prepare to never memorize a talk word for word. Didn't Winston Churchill memorize his? It says he never has, but from what I've heard, Winston Churchill practiced like whenever he had time. So maybe he didn't deliver word for word, but he certainly practiced a lot from what I've heard from a podcast, Founders Podcast. So the fundamentals: take heart from the experience of others, keep your goal before you, predetermine your mind's success, seize every opportunity to practice. Developing confidence, get facts about the fear of public speaking, prepare in the proper way, predetermine your mind's success, act confident. Yeah, so this seems a lot more on like public speaking, although there is some like just general speaking about it. I always don't know how to start these. Guides the reader or helps the reader. Helps the reader improve their ability to talk. Useful in a year or two. So probably like when I'm trying to seek funding, it might be more useful then, but even at that point, a lot of people aren't like seasoned speakers. Your passion and enthusiasm is sufficient at that point. So this probably won't be like super important until I have like a decent sized company. Maybe like over 30 people, over 20 people. So this is, I didn't show, Masters of Networking, Building Relationships for Your Pocketbook and the Soul. I did start reading this like a few years ago, and it does start with like a why you should network, and essentially it's saying it's like people that have a social network live longer, have happier lives because they always have people that they can turn to and count on. If you get fired, you always have people that you can go to get another job. Like you always have people you can talk to. So I think this is actually going to be pretty important. It's this or the networking survival guide. Networking at meetings. Oh, this was a complimentary copy to whoever purchased it. Let's see. And this actually seems useful. And what about this one? Yeah, I think I would actually choose the Networking Survival Guide. And then Masters of Networking as like a supplement. So Masters of Networking talks about all aspects of networking, but it does have a bit of a weird format. Starting up, starting over, connecting, making a good impression, listening to learn, establishing contacts, cultivating contacts, the instinct to help others, law of mutual benefit, what a little networking to the max, skills of a master, traits of a master, how good of a networker are you, the road to mastery. Yeah, so it's almost a little abstract. This one is a little bit more specific. What is networking? Getting started. Preparing for networking, networking accessories, body language, conversations, places to network, best practices when face-to-face, follow-up techniques, best practices when not face-to-face, how to maintain and grow your network, ethics, what if I don't feel like networking, gender, race, culture, and other networking factors. And this one is from McGraw-Hill, so it's bound to be a little bit more reviewed. All aspects of networking, bit of a different format, but I don't mean format in the sense of like, I mean format like the way it looks on a page, but it's different format and might not be as reviewed as the other networking book. Covers all aspects of networking. Actually, do I include it at this point? I'll include it for now. I'm hesitant too because I said how to win people and how to win friends and influence people. I said this one would be later on when I need to network, maintain network, recruit mentors, build a team, bring investors on board. But I put that off because I am not fundraising yet. But I mean, something that I recently learned is it's better to be prepared for the opportunity. And I think this is a little bit more concrete for me. It's more concrete than this is. So I'm considering keeping it there and maybe reading this a little bit later on. And then this would rank higher than this one probably. Yeah. Next up, we got Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. So this book is the classic book on persuasion. It explains the psychology of why people say yes. You'll learn 6 principles, how to use them, and how to defend yourself against them. So this book covers weapons of influence. Let's see. Yeah, so I think the first one is reciprocation. the old give and take, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. That almost gives me a broad idea of influence. Let's think about it a little bit. So, social proof is probably the lowest hanging fruit. Like, when we see someone, other people can vouch for them, and it seems like other people trust them, then we feel that they're more trustworthy. So yeah, we are persuaded in that manner. Commitment and consistency. So I'm not sure what that means, but my immediate way of thinking of it is, if you are committed to a purpose and you are consistent, you're developing a reputation, and so that's gonna give you. It's a bit like ties in with social proof and authority, in that you're trustworthy, you're committed, and you're consistent. Reciprocation, that's, well, like the golden rule, I guess, or that you understand, like social constructs. Is that the right way to think about it? And then liking, I'm not sure what liking is. Authority, well, I mean, if you have a reputation, if you're reputable, if you're a figure of authority in something, you're more likely to persuade people. And then scarcity, if what you're offering is very rare, your talents are rare, you're going to persuade people. Weapons was overpowering. I think I skipped too far. Yeah, this one's a bit harder to skim through. A lot of text, some images, which is nice, but other than that, there's no real formatting or blocking of the text. So what do I think of this book? Seems useful. But at what point is influence? To develop mindset on. So this, for me, persuasion comes up when you think about marketing, when you think about like networking as well. Just like getting mentors, building a team, getting financing or funds. So might come back to 2 once I might come back. Oh man, why did I that up so bad? I spelled 2 and then put 2 and then okay, come back to 6 to 8 months. Next book, Next 5 Moves, Patrick Bet-David. Don't have the cover for it. So this book I think is like, okay, let's just go over it. Move 1, master knowing yourself, master the ability to reason, master building the right team, master strategy to scale, master power plays. Who do you want to be? Study the most path to reason. Okay, so let's skim this. I read it before, but it's been a while. So the path to achieving your goals in business, you have to master yourself, ability to reason, building a team, strategies to scale, power plays. Master knowing yourself talks about understanding what drives you, what kind of entrepreneurship or what kind of business person do you want to be. You could be influencer, inventor, entrepreneur, support team, a solopreneur, sales, CEO, or founder. Right now, what I'm going for is probably solopreneur, entrepreneur, and then eventually CEO, founder, and inventor. Or support, and then as I grow older, support team. So like a investor. Align your career with your true self. Find areas that drive you. And why do they drive you? Okay. That was sharing like all the pages I would get fined for that. So move 1 gives you like a little exercise on how to master knowing yourself, how to deal with crises, and solve for X. Talks about thinking about how you would make money, the myth of the solopreneur. Based on that, next 5 moves. You're next. High level. or mid-level? High level. Yeah, so I'll leave it broad, but it does talk about like all the different types of entrepreneurs and people you could be. You could be an influencer, you could be a salesperson, you could be an entrepreneur, CEO, founder, and then basically like where do you go from where you are to where you want to be? But it did not. It did talk about fundraising, but it didn't really go into, because Patrick is an insurance and was in the insurance industry, so he's not really a technical person. But he does know like sales and leadership. And people, I guess. Human nature, I would say. Letting them. Yeah, probably next 6 to 8 months as well. 6 to 8 months. Might come back to next 5 moves. 6 to 8 months. Next up, Small Business Bible. There's the author. So this one, Live Your Entrepreneurial Dream. Comprehensive guide. A to Z library, easy to read. Talks about developing business idea, buying an existing business, writing a business plan. Oh, that's a red flag. Hiring, rewarding, firing employees, branding your business, bookkeeping. Yeah, that's useful. Insurance and legalese. That's useful. Marketing. We'll see how they approach that. Home-based businesses. That's for the common person, so that's good. It says he's a lawyer, but I'm wondering where he got his degree from. Where he was educated, but it is a Wiley book. So, table of contents, Genesis. In the beginning, choosing the right business, buying an existing business, understanding the market, calculating your costs, writing a business plan, structuring the business, setting up shop, so location, branding, product and inventory, pricing strategies, technologies and softwares you might use. The next part talks about money, so accounting, making a profit, getting and extending credit, and then insurance, getting handling taxes, growing your business. So we're talking about advertising, marketing, web presence, dealing with people. That's more of like the HR side of things, so hiring and firing, employee benefits, training, sales and customer service, then franchising, home-based businesses, business on a shoestring, I don't know what that is, small business success strategies. So it does seem like A to Z. Has a little quiz, see if it's right for you. Different kinds of businesses it mentions. That it's a very general book, so like people starting a nursery, a flower shop, lawn care, growing organic vegetables, buying a farm, starting a winery, all these different types of businesses. Do research, analyze your skills, consider options, narrow your choices, start your engines, buying an existing business. Let's see, that went quickly for choosing the right business. So yeah, it is more of like a checklisty type of book. doesn't cover it too much, but it gives you enough to, I guess, know what bases you need to have covered. Yeah, and this, where you can buy businesses, this might be like outdated. Understanding your market, what company, who are your customers, who are your competitors. Libraries, telemarketing, mail, calculating startup costs, rent. Yeah, so again, it's a bit of a checklist. Writing a business plan. Oh, yeah, this is a bit outdated. Yeah, this is a bit outdated. Or maybe it's more so for like small business owners. But even if I was just small business, I would approach small business as like a startup using this. Yeah, that might actually be helpful to mention for small business people that are watching this. So even if I was starting a small business, like a restaurant or whatever, I would still probably approach it like a small business, or not like a small, using the business model, Steve Blank methodology, or the lean methodology. Any like startup methodology, the modern one. Those two are the main ones anyways. So those two, using one of those startup methodologies, I'd probably use that over like just typical writing like a report of your startup. I would consider costs. That's an important part. But how are you going to realistically forecast sales until you've actually set it up? You can't know that unless you're doing customer discovery. So that's why I would use startup methodology. So start structuring your business. It does talk about the different business structures, corporations, limited liability companies, pros and cons of incorporating. Cons: creating is not inexpensive. Shareholders have little in day-to-day corporations. So this is more of incorporating. What about limited liability? Oh, right here. Protect their companies from personal liability from protect their owners from personal liability. Easy to create. LLCs, transfer of ownership is easy. Perpetual existence, it does. Professional corporations don't have perpetual existence. No, but C Corp. Yeah, C Corp. C Corps. Corp. Anyways, tax benefits. Yeah, and the difference between LLC, C corporation. C corporations are a little bit more difficult, may require lawyers, and thus are a bit more expensive. Not very useful for small businesses. I don't want to have to buy like a book on LLC, but it does suggest some do-it-yourself LLC books. I feel like given the age now of resources and the web, there I can probably find something online. Talks about raising funds, setting up shop, location. Yeah, so this is actually pretty useful. Small business. A shallow but but broad. Covering all aspects of small business. Very useful reference, especially if you are worried about because you don't know what you don't know. And so having a book that's very broad and talks about all those different topics can help you know what you don't know. And then at least from there you can decide whether you need to know it or if it's just... This one I wouldn't put in my top 5, but I would say it's a very useful reference book that I'm probably going to go through. So it's almost like I don't want to put it in top 5, but I do acknowledge that it's very good and I am going to have to use it. Next book, Art of the Start by Guy Kawasaki. So I've seen his name around in the startup space. He's a managing director of an early stage venture capital firm for high technology companies. He has a BA from Stanford and an MBA from UCLA. Rules How to Sell a Dream Macintosh Way. So what this book is about: a new product, a new service. It begins with a dream that just won't quit. What does it take to turn your idea into an action? From raising money to hiring people, from defining your positioning to building a brand, managing a board, fostering community, this book will guide you. So, the art of starting, articulation, the art of positioning, pitching, writing a business plan, activation. So activation is looking at bootstrapping, recruiting and raising capital, and proliferating. So partnering, branding, rainmaking. Oh, it's very much like, what's the other one? The lean startup. Make a mantra, mission statement, define your business model, weave a mat. Innovator's dilemma, articulation, the art of positioning. The art of pitching. Yeah, so this is probably useful. I hesitant to put in my top 5 because of the art of bootstrapping, because it seems in a similar vein as the lean startup. Ship then test. But it is a little bit more low level than, like, it's specific in comparison to the lean startup. So I would almost consider it, it's maybe like a baby of the, or not a baby, but like a medium between, or is it the $1 Million Weekend and the lean startup. So this was The Art of the Start, a book in between the, or was it Million Weekend and also has specifics to consider. So I probably would put it at the top. Now, next book is Entrepreneurship for Dummies. This is by Kathleen, PhD. Let's see how she covers this topic. So, draft a business plan, brainstorm a business, put together a starter team, choose the best legal structure, manage yourself, manage growth and change. So, what's an entrepreneur? Moving the speed of e-business, preparing to hear when opportunity knocks, testing an opportunity before you leap, developing your business concept, what your customers can tell you, designing, protecting your products and services. So it goes into IP. That's a new one that other books haven't covered. Putting your startup team, assessing your financial needs, creating a company, finding money, choosing the right legal structure, developing a business model for the digital world, planning growth, organizing your growth, reaching your customer, planning out 10 reasons to not start a business. I kind of disagree with the 10 reasons not to start a business. She says because everyone's doing it is a bad reason. But because you want to be a millionaire, I mean, there are other maybe her argument's going to be there's other ways to be a millionaire. You can retire comfortably with a job, something like that. Because you're looking for a secured, well, that's not a good reason. You don't want to work for someone else. I mean, you're going to end up working for your customer. But I mean, that's different because you have autonomy, I guess. At the end of the day, it's your decision. You can decide sort of at what pace you want to build your business. So there is more autonomy. Because you just came into some money, yeah, it's a bad idea. Because if someone did it, you can do it too. No, that's a bad idea. But I mean, that does motivate some people. Because you want to give everyone in your family a job. No. Because you've got a great idea. Nah, execution is important because it's too risky. That's what you want to do. Yeah, actually, she's right. She is right. For the most part. Moving at the speed of business. Everyone runs business. I don't know how I feel about this book. In a sense, it's almost a bit overwhelming how much is covered in this book in detail. Like, I feel like this is the kind of book people start to read, but then don't finish because of how much she's covering and how much needs to go into each of these areas. Not even because of, like, it's something she doing, but it's... Okay, that was actually like a misspoken sentence. It's more so that the breadth of what she's covering, like, you can't reasonably take action on all of these areas at one point. But the way the book is formatted or written, and makes you feel like you need to cover all of it. So in the end, you kind of just have a lot of overwhelmed by information. Terribly articulated, but that's my feel for this. So this one, I don't want this to overwhelm me. Entrepreneurship for dummies covers all aspects of entrepreneurship. Very broad. Actually, does it cover like, yeah, maybe actually. Skim specific relevant section. So even though it can overwhelm me, my strategy then is just skim the sections that are most useful in the same way that I would be using the Small Business Bible. So these aren't necessarily like top 5, but they are very useful. Yeah. Like if I think maybe another way to think about these is there's probably lots of other books, lots of other articles maybe, or websites that cover all of this. Like we did cover one website that was like the Business Owner's Toolkit. Or even some of these federal Small Business Owners Toolkit. So basically what these cover is useful because it's a starting point for a lot of people. And for me, it's a starting point, but there's probably many other books or articles or resources that cover it in a lot better manner. Okay, so the mom test is basically how do you conduct customer discovery interviews, I think. The mom test covers actually talking to humans. Where's that one at? It's short, covering the details of the customer discovery interviews. Yeah, so basically the same thing. And it's actually very short, so I'd probably read this in supplement to the Startup Owner's Manual. Next up, crucial conversations. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 more books. 5 minutes per book, 45 minutes. So crucial conversations, mastering crucial conversations, learn to look, make it safe. I've read this before. It's very good for crucial conversations. About how to best approach and navigate. Conversations might come back to in 6 to 8 months. Once I have to talk with like more, let's say like when I want to recruit people, interviewing people, have to reject people. When I'm talking to investors, those are going to be conversations that are crucial. So I need to be prepared. 6 to 8 months is a good time frame because I'll still be working on solopreneurship at that point, but I will be on just at the eve of trying to scale. So this one is, this is acceleration. This one, we're going through a website about legal and tax stuff regarding startups, and so this was very useful, or the website was useful, so this was like a no-brainer. So unlike most lawyers, Ryan doesn't tell entrepreneurs all the things they cannot do. Instead, he provides advice on how to achieve their startup's unique business objectives. Yeah, when you're launching a startup, one of the most important elements is the legal work involved. It's easy for entrepreneurs to ignore startup legal work that can lead to costly mistakes. So I just want to make sure that I, to the best of my ability, am aware of everything that is involved. So yeah, he's very thorough in this book. It goes from forming a startup, when to incorporate, why incorporate, what's the best legal entity, double taxation. Yeah, so you're being taxed for your corporation or your company, and then you're going to be taxed when you put that as income for your own personal money in your own personal, when you claim that as your own money. How to incorporate, what documents are included, naming the corporation, what's a registered agent, what is foreign registration, structuring your company. This is more of a C Corp stuff, but it still would be useful in the future. So bylaws, board of directors, officers, authorized shares, equity. That's all things that I want to know when we're starting the business, so I know that I'm not going to screw myself over. Because if you've seen like The Social Network, you see how I think Mark Zuckerberg basically diluted someone out of Facebook, and I don't want to be put in a position where that happens to me. Equity issues, and then people, what makes a good co-founder. So it even goes into other issues, other topics that are not just legal and tax. Oh, and then here we go into employees and contractors, vesting schedules, types of equity incentives, option pool, mentors and advisors. Oh, nice. Investment, so accelerator, seed round. Oh, nice. Yeah, I would want to read this before I start seeking funds. Securities laws. So covers all legal and tax. Well, tax to some extent. I didn't get to like specifically look through it. Where is it? Acceleration covers. I would say like it feels like it covers 80%. So let's say seems to cover the 80% most important topics in startup law that founders should know. Read before seeking funds. Maybe like in July. Next book, the 100 best business books of all time. So this is a bit of like a summary of all the books. Oh, damn. So the books covered in here include like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Art of the Start, Crossing the Chasm, The E-Myth Revisited, The Essential Drucker. What's the first 90 days? That seems flow. Getting Things Done. Good to Great. Guerrilla Marketing. How to Win Friends and Influence People. In Search of Excellence. Influence Innovator's Dilemma. Leadership Challenge. The Little Red Book of Selling. Positioning. Some other ones that I'm not mentioning, but a lot of great books. The First 90 Days. I am curious what that is. Oh, and it even sections all the books into topics. So like one topic is you or themes. Another one is leadership, strategy, sales and marketing, rules and scorekeeping, management, biographies, entrepreneurship, narratives, innovation, big ideas and takeaways. So maybe in entrepreneurship, no, it's not there. It wouldn't be in big ideas or the first 90 days instant takeaways, page 313. So the first 90 days, the average person will have 5 transitions during his career or her career. Being good at one job does not mean you will naturally excel at another. Provides a 10-step roadmap to help you in your transition. The reason for this is the president of the U.S. gets 100 days to prove him or herself. The actions you take during the first 3 months in your new job will largely determine whether you fail or succeed. So it's more so the first critical strategies. Yeah, so they even mentioned another book that's more for leadership, but this seems more focused for career and jobs. Hundred days. Book with TL. Too long, didn't read. It's on 100 of the best business books. Is useful to determine which books to read next. Maybe skim in June. To add more books, and then reskim every 4 months. Yeah, so that's that one. Next up, we got Entrepreneurship. This is published by Pearson Prentice Hall. So it's a bit of a textbook book. What's covered in this book? Let's see. What business do you want to start? It's talking about business plan. Who are the customers? What is the marketing? How are you selling? What about customer service? Tracking the numbers, the cash of the business, operating it effectively, choosing the legal structure and distribution channels. 100 business ideas, sample business plan, franchising, licensing, cost benefit. Yeah, this is a little bit of a textbooky. I mean, we anticipated that. So there is some useful stuff, but I mean, For just starting off, I don't know. 1 minute sales call. Public domain, licenses and permits. Oh, so yeah, there are some parts that are useful. Similar to like the small business one or the entrepreneurship for dummies. Business idea, the offer, checking out the competition. Yeah, so it's very broad. And it's probably most useful. Talks about Russell Simmons, huh? And yeah, so it's very broad. Topics it covers are like 1 to 2 pages. Yeah, so I'd probably, same thing as like the other ones I mentioned. A shallow but broad, covering all aspects. Entrepreneurship. Skim or oh, my pile's growing too big. Books are falling over. So next book, HBR, Entrepreneur's Handbook. So this says it's a primer, and let's see what it covers. So it talks about, is it right for you, shaping an opportunity, building your business model, organizing your company, writing a business plan. Oh, I wonder what is Harvard's take on writing a business plan. Startup stage financing, growth stage financing, angel investment, venture capital, going public. Covers all stages. Preparing for the journey is starting a business right for you. Do you have ideas? Do you have people skills? What's your work style? Are you financially savvy? Yes. People skills. I can develop it a little bit more. Work style. Very adaptable. Financially savvy. Yes. When I have a plan. Work style. Defining your enterprise, shaping an opportunity, identifying a problem to solve. The lean startup. Oh, nice. Okay. Agile, customer-based development. Nice of Harvard. But it also does have like a income statement, which is useful. Defining your business model. Testing your business model. So it's more of like a high level overview. Talks about how business structures, writing your business plan, benefits, business plan, goals, intellectual property ownership, operating plan, financing the business. Yeah, so this is like I maybe in the word handbook, it's broad enough, but it also covers like the key areas. like the 80, maybe 80%. The 80% from a higher level. Let's say that. But it also does have some specifics, so everything's not like black and white. So there's that. Yeah. So this was Entrepreneur's Handbook. Here. Covers the 80% of key topics in entrepreneurship from a high level with some specifics throughout the book. Where would I rank this? So let's see. This was a little bit later. So this is a little bit closer. Blue Ocean Strategies are even a little bit later. Model generation is closer to the top because it's more immediately applicable. Influence is later. Networking is later. Right? Yeah, this specific book is later. Talking to humans is more important at first. And the lean startup. This is like closer to the top, but I don't know if I would say it's right away. The mom test, short book. Put it up in front. Value prop. This I'm not quite sure. I would put it above lean startup though. Yeah, so that's we're already starting to rank stuff. Yeah. So that's how to have it so far. After this, everything else isn't really organized. And okay, so we reviewed Entrepreneur's Handbook. Yeah. Next up, it's an ad. Next up, the building. Okay, it's a long titled book. The building a hard business when the hard thing about I see. The title of the book is The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Building a Business When There Are No Easy Answers. That was confusing. So a lot of people talk about how great it is to start a business, but only Ben is brutally honest about how hard it is to run one. He's a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, investor, space investor, investor. Millions of readers, lifelong rap fan. Is that important? From communist to venture capitalist, I will survive when things fall apart. The right way to lay people off, preparing to fire an executive, demoting a loyal friend, take care of people. My startup should train their people. Concerning the going concern. Difficult CEO skill. Yeah, so this is probably 6 to 8 months from now. Yeah. So the hard thing about hard things about the aspects of or gives a look behind the curtain or behind the scenes look about the challenges. Entrepreneurship. Next up, the Millionaire Fast Lane. So, what is this book about? Wealth is not a road, but a road trip. Poverty, the sidewalk roadmap. Mediocrity, wealth, the fast lane. Your vehicle to wealth. So, page 107 and on, it seems like that's when it's going to start to get into the meat of the book. Everything else is more like saying you're disillusioned or you've been fed an illusion. Is that the same thing? I need to improve my vocabulary. You've been sold a lie. Let's see. What is the fast lane? So your own business, self-employment, entrepreneurship is a fast lane. Yeah, so far, chapter 17 was more of a mindset shift. Kind of almost in the vein of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was like I don't know, kind of like, well, I mean mindset shift, but it doesn't really offer specifics. So it almost gives you, when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it gives me like Iman Ghazi and other guru course selling, book selling vibes. Like maybe the information is to some extent useful, but it's really only covering like 10 to 20% of, it only has 10 to 20% value, and it's not getting anywhere close to like the 80% of useful information you actually need. Yeah, so it's talking about passive income. Okay, 5 fast lane business seedlings. So it's saying rental systems, computer software systems, content systems, human resource system, distribution systems. So rental systems. Oh, so he's saying like have a home, real estate. Next is computer software systems. And then content systems. Yeah, that's what a lot of people rely on. Selling content. Distribution systems. What's this about? To move. So is it almost like logistics and marketing. Own yourself first. Wipe your windshield clean. What gunk is in your windshield? Weighted decision matrix. There we go. I use the weighted decision matrix to decide to drop out of my PhD. So it seems like all the steps I've been following, and it's just being reinforced by this book. MLM companies, huh? Offer dropshipping. They don't. Wait. Is this where all the spammers go? So it's saying how you want to be a driver, and then it's saying drivers create MLM companies. They offer affiliate programs. They run hedge funds. They sell stock. They offer drop shipping. They don't use drop shipping. They offer employment. They don't get employed. Well, that wouldn't make sense, but they don't join the hottest trend. So it's basically telling you need to be a shovel seller. I don't know how I feel about that. Because, it made sense to sell licenses, get rent, offer employment because you're a founder, but make MLM companies to offer drop shipping. That doesn't align with the way I want to provide value. This is just more like I want to get rich. Doesn't matter what I'm selling. I'm not aligned with that, but it does offer some useful points. Yeah, so it seems useful enough. Baby billionaire, but it says 10 million plus. Baby billionaire. Baby billionaires, I guess that's for 10 million plus baby billionaires. Okay, but it's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Seems, okay. How do I approach this? The starting steps towards align with what I have been doing. Align coincidentally or coincidentally align. Coincidentally align with what I've been doing. So maybe the help me get through the next phases quicker. Yeah, and I'm already going through my steps pretty quickly in a matter of like weeks instead of months and years. So this is, yeah, I'd put it up there just because of the coincidence. I want to see if the past is an indication of the future for the book. Next book, The 7-Day Startup. Yeah, 7-Day Startup. Whoa, why does the back look blurry? I think it's just the way it's printed. So what's in this book? You don't learn until you launch. My first business idea, my first startup, my 7-day success. What is a startup idea? Execution hustle. Why 7 days? 7-day startup. What is an MVP? Build a website. 10 ways to market your business. Refine your business model. 14 business rules. I like this. Similar to like the weekend startup. I'm going to try both challenges again, probably in March or April. It's very short, so depending on how useful this is. Day 1, you need to have an idea. Day 2, you need to have something to launch. So MVP, you need a business name on day 3. Day 4, you need a landing page. Day 5, I'll give you a look into how you get your business in front of enough people. You measure success. You need to measure what success means. Day 7, launch. Nice. Yeah, so I want to try this. This is like an interesting challenge. Where was it? The $1 Million Weekend, Guider Reads. Okay. Almost done. 0 to 1. By Peter Thiel. Notes on startups and how to build the future. It's easier to copy a model than to make something new. Doing what we've already done. Doing what we already know how to do takes the world from 1 to n, adding more of something familiar. But every time we create something new, we go from 0 to 1. I like that. It's almost to me like on the other end of the seesaw, where Millionaire Fastlane is on one end, where you just want to get rich, you're probably going to do something familiar. While this is like, no, let's innovate. The challenge of the future party, like it's 1999. All the happy companies are different. Next, Bill Gates will not build an operating system. Next, Larry Page, Sergey Brin will not build a search engine. I like that. I always think about like how I can innovate. What can I do? And this gives me like a good idea of how to approach that. So let's see. The ideology of competition, last mover advantage. You're not a lottery tickets. Follow the money. Secrets. Yeah, so this seems very useful. And where would I consider this? So I think I would read that. Talks about how to build how to innovate an entrepreneur. Read maybe in July 2024. Yeah, because right now I just want to develop my skills. Have like the skills that I keep mentioning are like web dev, iOS, Android. So I can push out things until I can basically build passive income and pay off my debts. So if I can push or ship stuff and pay off my debts within like a year and maybe not even have to get a job at like a place with good work-life balance, that would be even better. So once I do that, then I want to think about a little bit bigger ideas, or even in that time, think about bigger ideas that I would want to execute on once I pay off my debts and have more freedom to take more risks and not worry about how I'm going to pay my... Wait. What did I do? Oh, I see. So there's that. And then the last one. So positioning, I'm going to leave out. And then these books, this one's an ebook. These other ones I need to look into. So Life Hacks. This is by Alan Wong, who has made, I believe, $100 million in the App Store. I don't even have to read it. I know that it's important because he talks about how he started his process. Oh, it's 12 already. Okay, I should finish this. Life. Alan Wong talks about the lessons he learned in making his apps, in making 100 million with initially started with apps. Okay, so let's see. How do I want this millionaire fastlane $7 startup? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. Okay, that's where I'll leave it for today. I do need to go to sleep. Oh, what is that? Let's see how much I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have 16 books. Okay, I'll think about this tomorrow. Time to go to sleep. Fuel up for tomorrow.